Hello and welcome, and in this video I'm going to be talking further amongst a buy low, sell high strategy. Of course, whatever you decide to do is always within your own risk, own reward. I'm sharing ideas, but this is just going over the mathematics and the techniques in how this works. It's very easy to do, and I say that compared to many of all the other profitable techniques that traders use to get profits. There's work required, but there really isn't too much. It can get tedious faster over time. Office type of computer work, but if you're good at computers, good at spreadsheets, good at mathematics, it's not going to be that hard at all. And there's not many Bitcoin required in balance to keep swing trading. So therefore, you could have a balance of 10 Bitcoins, but only have 0.05, or 10 Bitcoin value that is, but only have 0.05 Bitcoin on there. And never ever really need to have even any at all, because whenever you're going to be selling a altcoin, you'll be buying some other one within this strategy. And let's start off with a quick example. And let's just assume you want to invest or gamble or trade. And I like to use all those words together, as gambling is taking some sort of risk on an event of uncertainty. Uncertainty is mathematically defined as an outcome that is not 0 or 100% likely to occur, which means their ultimate outcomes can happen. And that means in life we pretty much have to gamble no matter what. We're forced into it because we're in a world of so many uncertainties. Okay. So you want to trade 7,000. Let's just assume there's 9 codes, A, B, C, all these ones. And this is just hypothetical prices. So there is 7 of them. So you basically want to put 1,000 per code. And I got to count the rake in here because that's what we're playing with in the crypto space. It's easy to get, well, it's very hard to, I haven't seen greater than 0.25. It's usually 0.15, 0.02. I've seen 0.08, but the rake at this level is very much profitable. So in this example, we're buying 1,000 on every single one of these codes. Let's move forward. Let's assume a day goes by and you've already made your wagers. Next day goes through. And your portfolio, you're up over 1%. You started with 7 grand, you got 7,089. So these are the coins you have. We got the price. The prices changed. This one was up 2.87%. 3 of them down. Nice gains on PQR. And what we have is the value of each one, which a lot of the portfolios will do for you, is just show you what you have. And assume the person has $400 back. Just to, I mean, you could have $100 back, but you need to have a base currency. So what we need to do is sell what is up and buy what is down. So the code is worth about $1,013 as the average, taking a portfolio of the alternate coins of $7,089.16. Dividing that by 7 gives us $10,1274. So you basically buy these up and down so that each one would be worth such. So in this example, we can sell PQR because it's up 7.8%. Sell some GHI up 5.8%. And you don't get that much on a sale of ABC, but it's only up 2.87%. And then you buy some DEF because it's down 2.5%. Some MNO, it was down 1.5%. It's only a $30 buy for that one, but down 2% was STU. Now, no trade was done on JKL, although a small one could have been made, as you could have bought, well, it was $999.61 it was worth. So that's $12.74 plus 39. You're looking at $13 and change. There's going to be times where maybe the minimum bet, we'll say this is, well, there's $13 here. But it could have been done. If it's not, you know what? Big deal. A lot of times I'll just look for the ones that are up biggest and up low or down the most and get those ones taken care of. Now let's assume another day goes by and everything is up. Everything. And now your portfolio, the altcoin 76.48. You'd be up almost 10% in 2 days. Wouldn't that be magnificent? However, this is a day where with everything going up, then the gainers would be the sellers, the best ones that is, and the worst underperformers would be the buyers. The average coin would be $1,092.65. So with ABC, it's worth $1,013. So now you need to go out and buy like $79 worth to bring it up to 1092. DEF, it's up a little more, 1143. So you'd want to sell 43 plus 851. GHI 1254. That's about 162 you can sell on that one. And so on and so forth. And by the way, this one should have said 410.17 value, but whatever. This was just done quickly for purposes within this video. Then you're going to have situations where everything is down in the same manner, where everything goes down, your portfolio will go lower. And now you're basically be buying from the ones that have done the worst and selling from the ones that haven't lost as much as the other ones. But when that's the case, your base currency basically never changes. So you never have situations where, oh my goodness, the market's down so much, it's a great buying spot, I got to get Bitcoin in to buy. With this strategy, that's never the case. You just go ahead and buy all the dips, sell all the peaks like as it goes through. Okay, let's take a look at how I'm doing this, because this is just basing it on making everything worth the same, which could be relatively easier to do, but that's not how I'm doing my portfolio. I am playing 102 total units, 3, 6, 11, 65 total coins. Bitcoin would be 66. And I'm putting 15 units on LTC, which means it's going to be worth 15 times more than all the basic 54 codes that are out there. Komodo and Dash at 7.5 units apiece. 3.5 units on Omi's Go, Ethereum, and ZEC. 5 other coins are worth 1.5 units, and again, 54 worth 1 unit. And what this means is with Litecoin and half as much with the Komodo and Dash, I don't need as large of gains or losses to make a buy or a sell because of its larger scale size. Also, when it has very big moves up or down, that makes it very interesting. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, or probably seconds, but it's going to be more reflective to such. And yeah, let's move on to further within this. And assuming you wanted to, you have an altcoin that you play that you love so much. And one example could be Burst Coin. There are dozens and really over 100 different ones. Well, an example would be, say you have a half a Bitcoin on one alternate coin, and on 50 alternate coins, you put 0.01 Bitcoin on each of them. Essentially, now what you're doing is you're trading those 50 coins against the currency you have as a base. Because in situations where, say, we'll use your Burst coin as an example, let's just say something like this were to happen, because we've seen it happen so many times with all the alternate coins. Well, before this happened, when Burst was going higher, assuming that the other alternate coins were going up at a slower rate of ascent, or they weren't going up at all, maybe going sideways or even down, then you would have been selling bursts mainly for altcoins. And then say this down move here was much bigger than most of the other ones, you would have been buying bursts mainly through these days for the other ones. And then the situations where you have these big moves, then the value of what each one would be interesting, because let's again assume that you had half a Bitcoin worth of burst, but after this move and the price has done better than double, you got say 1.1 Bitcoin worth after that big move. And we'll assume even the alternate coins were rallying. They were worth 0.5, but now they would be worth say 0.65. So your portfolio is worth 1.75. And if we put that in half, that would be about 87. 0.87 is what you would need this to be. So you would need to sell 0.23 of these things during this rise higher. And then you would be using those Bitcoins and then putting it into most likely almost all of those 50 altcoins. It's probably a couple, 3 exceptions along the way for them doing what burst would be doing as well. And I've seen this so many times before where those coins just take a big fall later on. They have big moves and then they have their big fall later. So when all of this is happening, your portfolio would not be having a price barely above this low when you got back. No, you would be doing fantastic. And then when I put this information in a spreadsheet, what I did is I took 9 codes, and I could have got a bunch more, but I figured I had enough data and I really wanted to get these results that I just went ahead and did it. And the funny thing is I was downloading codes. I did a whole bunch more of these outside of them within the ranges of the letters. These were the ones that just started, not only at this time frame, but back in 2015 as well. I just thought, you know what, let's just do it for the year. And just because the data I know for sure is accurate. So therefore, I put all this data together and calculated a way that would do all of those things automatically every single day based on each close of the following codes shown. And thus, with the 9 codes, I started putting 0.1 in every single one. That's Bitcoin value. And that meant you started with 0.9 BTCs. So this is doing all of its work, figuring out what it needs to do, how much it needs to buy, how much it costs, all of the beautiful things computers can do. But this is how much the trader was making and how much somebody who bought the exact same 9 coins with the exact same amount to start and just did nothing but just hold it. So you started off being down on day 1, day 2, you were down on day 4, and that was it. And you know what? I did better than that. Meaning, on my first day of trading cryptos, I was actually down. Although I was doing good for the first few hours. Like for about 6 hours, 8 hours in, I was doing positive. And then for a 2 or 3 hour period, I went from being up like 1%, 2%, and then being down like 5% on my portfolio. I was like, ooh. But then the next day after that, I was up, and I've been up every day since. But that's pretty much what this was doing. It had a little bit of small falls, and well, the results after all of 2017 and a little over 1/4 of 2018 was gaining 155 Bitcoin, starting with 0.9 profit. So that's about 170 times profit, plus the gains you'd get on Bitcoin on top of that as well. Our holding was 6.73. Let's take a look at this via a graph next. And what we have is the data for the trader on how they would be doing. This would be the first 6 days. So what we're going to do is we're just going to just look at this period after period. So we'll put a couple weeks go by. The trader gets up to this level, experiences an okay pullback, but you know what though? That's the nature of this game. And as far as these moves are concerned, because I'm obsessed with portfolio management, because I've done a lot of this in the past, as far as gambling for years, I am good at handling, of course, these things. So anyway, this is what the first 3 weeks would have looked like. Say a month goes by, so we'll go to 50. Now we're into late February, and there we see having some nice games, a little bit of pullback, but let's continue on through. So let's assume another 50 days go by, and look at that. Last year, when the cryptos erupted in the second quarter, well, this is what this portfolio would have done playing just those particular coins. Let's continue on. Say another 50 days go by, and the gains just even get elaborated even more. 150 into a year. Well, that's a little under a half a year, so we're late June. So the market's going to be topping pretty soon, because basically into July until the end of November, all the cryptos went down. So this thing is going to be going down pretty hard, right? Well, let's see. Let's do another 50 days. We were at a top of 35. Okay, I did the whole thing. That was a mistake. Anyway, let me just go. Okay, that totally changes how I was going to present this. So let's just go to the end. I don't even know how many days we're at. There we go. So then, within this chart, so the big decline for the price of Bitcoin back in the summer would have seen this go from 80. And I want to see this before the move, so 324 we'll say as a data range. As you can see, this thing pulled back to well, from up 80 to like up 30 something. So you had your moments, but as we've seen, when these things go up, this just goes skyrocket high. So therefore, the big move here, seeing this, and then the altcoins taking a big hit. Your portfolio in this case going from about 200 and under, 240-ish down to about 130. So you could easily lose half your value in an extremely profitable situation. But as we've seen, if the markets explode, this would go up to like 1,000, because that's what this type of trading system does. And as far as this code, as far as just random altcoins, this one looks like it's breaking out, almost stating as if altcoins are ready to go. Now let's take a look at this chart from that individual, or the situation of just buying and holding what you have. So we'll do the same sort of deal. 75 days in, we could see spectacular gains. But as we can notice, and let's just go to cell 64 on here, or 70, let's just do the whole thing. As far as a comparison is concerned, this thing was in a nice grinding uptrend throughout the first 50-60 periods, where this was in a very neutral sideways movement for the first 60 periods. I'm just going to take this to the very end now. I haven't seen this chart yet, actually, so this will be the first time for me. And very, very interesting that it's got nowhere near the similarity of what this does. Because we can see here from around 172 down to 305, or 172 down to 230, down to this area, down but well above, then sideways. And this one goes down, up a little bit more, then down again. So we see how during a big time move like this, while a lot of investors are losing half their value, you're maintaining your value during this same similar type of time. And then this move of holding these coins gets just back to its previous high, or even pierces below. It gets back to this level of support. It resists where it came from within the collection of these particular coins. In this case, not even close, and its pullback didn't even go back to where it came from on this situation. So again, this strategy is just that of buying what is cheap and selling what is that of very, very expensive within price. Because again, with so many of these codes, it's not uncommon for them to go up such phenomenal amounts in quick periods of time and then retrace it back, whether it's successful or not in a bull level. But either way, when it has those big type of moves, because this is what a lot of altcoins will look like, this type of chart here. So when this type of move on a particular coin happens, you're selling a bunch of it and you're buying them back lower, and thus you would be getting results of this type of investment portfolio compared to something like this. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this video. I hope you have found this helpful, insightful, but profitable. I think a few of you will. I know for myself, with just everyday people wanting to get into cryptos, this would be the base strategy that I would probably want to teach people, or if suggest that this would be one that I think is good. And especially for those who want to get into a whole bunch of different coins, maybe you just want to try to get into 10, 20 different ones. It's a good measure. And then within this data, all I did was just take what the events were at the end of every single day. There was nothing about putting sell orders in on intraday levels. Because one thing that I love about this is, yeah, I don't use buy orders, but I do use sell orders. And for such, that means if, say, something goes up really good, I play in a code at, say, 2,000 Satoshi is where it's currently priced at. So I'll put a sell order in maybe for 2,500. That would be a 20% gain, 25%. And markets can do that oftentimes. So I realize that if it goes through, that's going to be good long term for my portfolio. Because oftentimes within those moves, you'll see intraday that something will go up really fast and then just come right back down. That you can see that you'll just oftentimes buy it back later in the day. I mean, I've been doing that today with Steam and Steam dollars because it's been going up and then going back down again. Recently, Cloak has been fun for that as well. So that's the strategy. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'd like to hear them anyway because I love comments. That's almost what fuels the incentive for me making these videos. Alrighty then. Have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye.